Hello, welcome to today's video. Just to let you know, at the very beginning of this video is going to be over an hour long. And in a way, it's going to be kind of a review video of the trucking industry. I will not be talking the entire time, but I just kind of wanted to give you a review and some of the stuff that I actually do while I'm on my route, some of the sites I get to see, and what it's like being a truck driver. So come along and join me, and as I give you a little review. Now, I actually want to kind of give you a little bit of a background of when I got my CDL, why I got my CDL. So I want to say back in like 2000, into 2019. Well, I want to say that for years, people have been saying that I should probably go out and get my CDL. Oh, by the way, before I go on with the story, I should say that throughout this video, you will see some footage that I have used in other videos in this video, but this time I'm adding some dialogue to it and just we're gonna use that video just to kind of talk through it, because on some of these videos, like what you're seeing now with this rest stop in Oregon, I will be posting a video of this publicly. If I haven't already done that, have it posted publicly before I post this video publicly. But I don't have any narration in the video, so it's just me reusing that footage and just including it into this video. Anyways, on to my story. Back near the end of 2019, I want to say about, you know what? Actually, it was the majority of about half the year. I think I started a job at Ewing Supply Irrigation and Supply as a local delivery driver. I would drive around in like a little Ford F-350 to where I can load it up with some like sprinkler supplies. I can load it up with like PVC pipe and stuff like that, and I would deliver it to local construction companies that had people that were actually installing sprinkler systems into their houses. Anyways, I started working there about May or June of 2019, and it was just because I was working there and I was working part-time at a McDonald's just to help try to kind of make ends meet. But so earlier that year, I was working another warehouse job, and I was working part-time at a McDonald's. And unfortunately, I had gotten let go from that prior warehouse job, but I was still working full-time, or not full-time, but I was working part-time at a McDonald's. And the only reason why I was doing that is because I was trying to help make ends meet. I got 3 kids. One of them was still a toddler, actually, she was still just a baby, just a newborn, pretty much 5 months old. Anyways, I started working for, this is 2019. My daughter was a couple years old by then. So I lost that job because of unforeseen circumstances. They were trying to downsize a little bit. And then I went ahead and found another job to where I could supplement the money I was making while I was at McDonald's. So I was working part-time at McDonald's, and I was working full-time at this warehouse. And being like a local delivery driver, and I would start at 7 a.m. and I would get off about 4 or 4:30 p.m. And this was the latter half of 2019. It was going pretty good. I mean, I wasn't too happy. I still wasn't too happy because the pay for both jobs combined still wasn't that great, but I was still trying to do whatever I could to make ends meet. And come near the beginning of 2020, we all know what happened in 2020, and I bet a lot of you can actually have an idea of what I'm hinting towards. So January or February, there was this pandemic going on. It wasn't really a pandemic quite yet, but everybody was talking about this virus that came out of this lab in China in Wuhan. I honestly was a little ignorant about it. Because I kept hearing about a ton of different stories. It was almost like a Resident Evil type thing. I've even heard that. I literally even heard that it was kind of like a Resident Evil type thing where it was like a zombie virus going around in this little warehouse, and everything was contained. You know what I mean? It was just like one of the weirdest things I ever saw. And I also heard it was because people are trying to eat like a certain animal or something like that. I don't know. That's just what I was hearing, but I didn't really think much of it because, well, there wasn't really much to think of at the time, or at least that's what I thought. So come February 2020, I was actually about to go out the door from work. I don't have the date right on the top of my head, but it was in February 2020. And so I had just left the door. I literally, I opened the door, I walked the door, and I locked the door. I got a text from my wife, and I was thinking that maybe I had forgotten that. I had forgotten something, or sometimes I forget to lock the door, and sometimes my wife would just text me to remind me to lock the door. So I thought it was either one of those two. Oh, she's probably reminding me to lock the door, or she's probably reminding me about something that I forgot inside. Don't forget your lunch, or whatever. Stuff like that. I got the text, and she said, "Hey, did you feel that?" I was like, "Feel what?" Like I felt something shaking and stuff like that. I told her it was probably me closing the door, because sometimes I would close the door really hard, because at the time I remember it was really hard for us to close our door at the time. And she's like, "No, it was a lot harder than that," and found out that she looked it up, and I really didn't think much about it. But before I can actually get to our van was like, our parking stall for our apartment is probably like 50 to 75 feet away. Not too far away, but it was a little bit of a walk to get over there. But before I can actually get into the car, she had texted me, and she had said that, that was a 5.7 earthquake. I was like, what the heck? That was weird, because she felt it, and we were within like 20 or 25 feet from each other, and I didn't feel a single thing. So I thought it was just like really weird. I was listening to it, and I guess it was a 5.7 earthquake that I think was, the epicenter was in Magna, Utah, which is a suburb of Salt Lake City. It's not very far from Salt Lake City at all, but I guess people are feeling it down here, and I think even I heard stories that people are feeling it as far south as like St. George, Utah, which is like a 3 or 4 hour drive from, Salt Lake City. So it's kind of strange. And that entire morning, on my way to work, it only took me like 20 minutes to drive to work from where I was at. Not very far. But people are talking about like how breaking news, 5.7 earthquake. There was the damage that was reported was really minimal. But I do know that some places had dislodged some toxic mold, like in this small surrounding area. It wasn't a whole lot, but I think from what I heard, it was enough to like demolish part of where that mold was coming from. You know what I mean? And it was pretty crazy. And I think that's about right on that same day. That's about when everybody started recognizing that what was going on in China was actually a lot worse than they had let on. And then that's when some people were like, starting to freak out. Oh, we're getting sick. Everybody's going to get sick because of this virus that's going around and stuff like that. And even at this point, I still didn't think much about it. But yeah, I do have to say that was probably the day when I started noticing more and more people are talking about this virus. And it wasn't until like the middle of March when people here in Utah are starting to get more serious about it. But yeah, so I want to say that probably in the middle of March, toward the latter half of March 2020, I want to say that's when, I don't want to say that's when the world started shutting down, but even though that might be likely true, but I want to say that that's at least when Utah started to shut down some things. I was like, what the heck? I was like, me and a few of the other employees that are there at Ewing Irrigation in Lehi, Utah, we're like, what is actually going on? Are we going to shut down? What's going to happen? And then I guess it got super serious at the very beginning of April, because that's when I got called in to the office, to my supervisor's office, and we found out that me and other delivery drivers from the other 3 or 4 locations in like the Salt Lake and Utah County areas were getting let go because we would be the ones that would have more contact, would be in more contact with other people with other businesses and stuff like that. So we would have more exposure as compared to like the rest of the employees that we worked with. So I guess in a sense that made sense. Sorry, my son is in the background right now. So yeah, like that, they ended up letting us delivery drivers go because, I mean, honestly, we weren't really doing a whole lot because there was at the time we weren't getting a whole lot of deliveries to do. So we were just kind of sitting around, kind of wasting time, getting paid to do nothing. So I guess that's another reason for that as to why they wanted to, let the truck drivers go. That I guess that was okay. I mean, I was not happy about losing my job because I still had a part-time job at McDonald's that I was using to help pay my bills. But luckily, they by this point, the Utah Unemployment Office, and I'm assuming other unemployment offices across the nation and maybe even across the world, had a pandemic insurance, like a pandemic unemployment pay of some sort. And luckily, on there, it gave me the option, like if I was let go because of the pandemic, then I was basically automatically given the chance to get the unemployment package. And I did talk to an individual because I told him what the situation was that I was in, and just like anybody else, I got let go because of the pandemic, but I was also working part-time at a McDonald's. So I just wanted to know what I should do, like what I needed to do to report that and claim unemployment, because I heard that even if I was working like part-time hours, I can claim the unemployment. And what they told me was that every week when I filed my unemployment, we knew that we had to have at least 3 job applications submitted, or some sort of job job contact, whether I'd be contacting someone at an office or wherever, or just submitting a job application. We had to do at least 3 of those a week, and I was usually doing about 3 a day. And multiply that by 7, so I was doing at least 21 a week, at least minimum. But then when I reported those, I also had to report the amount of hours I was working at McDonald's, because I think even when I was working full time, I was still doing about 15 hours a week at McDonald's, just to kind of, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, just help make ends meet. And I reported that. I told them how I needed to report that, because sometimes I got a half-hour break. I didn't remember if I got paid for those or not. And they told me that I would have to work. All they said is all I had to do was report how many hours I worked, multiply that by the amount of money I was making per hour. I'm not going to really release that because, personal information. It wasn't a whole lot. It's McDonald's. You can assume that it wasn't a whole lot of money. Anyways, but so did that. I would report that. And I was thankful for what I had. I was thankful for what I did have, but I was not happy with being in the situation that I was in. Being a dad of 3 kids, and a lot of them have, all 3 of them have, they all have autism. So they are a little difficult to raise. They're a little difficult to deal with sometimes. Love them to death, and I'll do anything to make sure that they have what they want and or need. And that's why I was working 2 jobs at this point. Come towards about a year later, so I was doing that for about a year. I still had a hard time finding a job, and I got talked into it. Both my wife and my own mom, the 2 women that I trust the most in my entire life. I trust them more than anything, more than anybody. My wife and my own mother. I trust both of them more than anybody. They had told me that I should probably go out and get my CDL, but my wife and I were like, how are we going to afford that? I don't want to, because we kept hearing some companies will help you get your CDL if you can pay them back, as long as you sign a 1-year contract with them. They can help you with that, and it'll still be $7,000 or $8,000 afterwards. I'm like, I don't know if I can keep affording that and work at the same company for a year. How would I do that? I didn't get it. And I made that aware to my wife. I made that aware to my mom. It was something that I was concerned about, because, like I said, we're living off of unemployment and McDonald's wages. I couldn't really afford much at all, other than our own bills. The bare necessities of what we needed. So, by the way, if I'm rambling on, I apologize. This is gonna be a long video, a lot of space to fill up for this entire video. So I just didn't know how I was going to be able to afford to get a CDL, even though I really wanted to get one. And then I didn't know this was a thing, but my mom pointed out that if I go to the Utah Department of Workforce Services, they'd be willing to from what she understands, she'd be willing to help, or they would be willing to help us out, or help me out with getting that. And then I didn't understand how or why, but I was curious. I wanted to know how they can help out, what I could do. You know what I mean? I just didn't know what to do or how they would help. So I went to the Department of Workforce Services, and I decided, to go ahead and go to the Department of Workforce Services because I figured that the worst thing that they could do is, I just wanted to figure out what I could do to get my CDL, and I found out that they can actually, after doing some research to figure out how much it would cost, where I want to go get my CDL and stuff like that, they were willing to help me pay for that. So I ended up going to Mountain Technical College in Lehigh, Utah, and paid for the course in full. And it was a 1 month course. Basically, what I did is I got my CDL. It was like a driver's ed course, and it was on from there. My first job was, I'm not going to really mention any jobs in this video, but I'll probably mention it in the first time at this moment. But anyways, I'm going to pause because I got some old videos I'm going to go through, kind of doing like a little review about some of the truck stops that I would visit and stuff like that. And if you would like to hear the rest of my story and actually hear what I actually had to say about the trucking industry in general, come back to the end of the video, or you can even fast forward to the end of the video just to see what I had to say. Generally positive, but as long as you're willing to do what it takes to get the job done, you know what I mean? So here I am in some other videos that I'm going to keep the audio in, so enjoy. The next stop I would actually go to after driving by the, well, I didn't always come to this one. After leaving Walmart, I would sometimes come over here so I could grab a couple, like something for lunch real quick. And it's the TA of South Boise, basically. I'm on the other side of Boise than I was at the Nampa one. But I used to come here to just kind of walk through, grab a couple things, like a couple snacks from here that they don't have at Walmart. Gonna do a quick little walkthrough here, but I've already done a vlog here, so I'll go ahead and link that one down below too. Okay, sorry for the wind. It's pretty windy, but I'll try to talk over it. If it gets too loud, I'll start doing like a voiceover. But I'm at the rest stop here in Bliss, Idaho. I am about an hour and a half or 2 hours past Boise, headed towards Salt Lake City. And I say about 2 hours because my truck only goes about 65 miles per hour, so it takes a little bit longer, even though the speed limit here for trucks is 70 miles per hour, and then for cars it's 80 and 84. But usually going in either direction, I stop at this one. I also stop at the one across the street over there. I'll go over there in just a second to kind of talk about or point it out. But usually when I leave Salt Lake City, I usually stop at the one across the street because there is Hayburn is about an hour south of here, and in Hayburn it's in that direction. Hayburn is about an hour south of here. I probably pull over there tomorrow to add on to the video to get a little bit of a recording there. So can I go over to the Love's gas station there? I go to the bathroom there, and then I drive all the way out this way, and you see on the other side of the interstate where those trucks are parked. Again, I cannot zoom in because I'm using a GoPro, and I usually go to that rest stop. I went there on Monday, but the doors are locked. And when I go over to the Amazon facility I pointed out and talked about earlier in Nampa, and I would go over to that Walmart right next to there, I would leave there, and then I would basically drive all the way until I got about here, because I took a break. I took my half-hour break at Walmart there in Nampa so I can give myself the additional 3 hours of drive time. And then once I left that rest stop out there, or once I left the Nampa Walmart, I would drive out the hour and a half to almost 2 hours here, and then I would come to this I come to this rest stop. I've done a review. I've done a video review at this one before, and then after I was done here, I would drive the 45 minutes or so to get up to Twin Falls out in that direction. Now I don't know what it is about this rest stop, but I remember when I was driving for Hub Group and I was going up to Nampa all the time. This one wasn't that bad. The one that's on the other side of the interstate, the one I pointed out just a second ago, you know, it was okay. It was, you know, it wasn't exactly the cleanest rest stop there was, but it also wasn't the dirtiest. And I felt the same about this rest stop. I don't know what had happened, because the last few months of me coming over to this rest stop, it just smells like someone peed all over the walls. They just haven't cleaned it. At least in the guys' bathroom. I don't know what it's like in the women's bathroom, but it smells bad. It smells like old pee. And I guess the reason why I keep coming over to this one is because I feel like it gets some good distance between Nampa and here, because I used to go over to Twin Falls and go over to the gas station over there, or not the gas station, just go over to a hotel in Twin Falls and Jerome, and I used to go over there and stay the night. It was a good, because between here and Boise and Nampa, it's a good hour and a half to 45 minutes, hour and 45 minutes drive. So I get a good chunk of the driving done. So I want to go to the bathroom. All I would have left to do is just drive over the Twin Falls. That was all the time I had left to drive. And as you can see, all around the rest stops, there's like no civilization. You see Glenn's Ferry up the road and Mountain Home. Yeah, you basically go from Salt Lake City, drive on I-84, keep going. You can see there's like little mesas, little plateaus over there. That's basically Glenn's Ferry, and then once you get past there, you get to Mountain Home. And I didn't stop there this time, but Mountain Home is one of those places where I'll stop by. Like I'll stop by the Flying J Mountain Home and when I'm on my way towards Boise, towards the northwest, away from Salt Lake City. It's not a bad stop, because sometimes if I park there, I can go to the gas station, go to the bathroom. They got a Jack in the Box, Wendy's, Arby's. Just if I need to grab some food, I just go over there and grab some food. It's not bad. I like the drive. Okay, so this is also a huge stop from what I always do, like the Hub Group routes. This gas station right here, Country White. It's a Country or Valley White store. I would park, sometimes I would park here, but when I was at Hub Group, right over there, that's the Comfort Inn Suites I used to stay at all the time. I'm gonna go walk over there here in a second, but I used to park right on that side of the building and plug my truck in to keep the battery warm during the wintertime. I used to stay at this hotel on the top floor usually, and I would like walk the entire property. Sometimes I would go over to that Flying J. Sometimes I would I would park over there. I started walking, come all the way here, walk over to where those gas pumps are. Sometimes I would walk through the gas station to stay warm. Other side of the gas station, go all the way down there. You see off in the distance, there's a building right next to where, kind of farther back. I kind of walk down towards there, past the hotel, past that building, and then walk. It's like a half block behind the Comfort Inn Suites, where there'd be like another walkway behind it, and then just make a full lap. I think one full lap around was about a half mile to 3/4 of a mile of a walk. So it was a good way for me to get a lot of steps in. Anyways, I went ahead and parked my trailer over here, or my truck and my trailer over here, because I am gonna go do a little bit of walking, put myself in a half-hour lunch. I want to see if the little chicken place here is open, or if Jersey Mike's here is open, because if they are, I might end up staying here for the night. If not, I'm gonna drive an extra 10 or 15 minutes up to the Garden of Eden gas station. I'm gonna stay there. I've stayed at this Flying J before, and it's okay. It's pretty clean, but it's just that the parking area, it's a tight squeeze to get in and out of there. It kind of is here too, but at least it's a little easier to get out of here, because if I park here for the night, I can pull forward and just pull out right next to where that subway is. I'm actually kind of surprised that subway is still there. I mean, it's still open. I mean, it's closed for today because it's a holiday, but I almost never see anybody over there. Okay, it's really weird. I didn't know this, but the door that's over there, locked. So I came into the front door over here, and that's also locked. So you can tell it's a Jersey Mike's. So, and there's also a chicken place near. It's called, I don't remember what it's called, but Cluck's Crispy Chicken. That's what it is. Yeah, some okay chicken, but I'm not gonna stay here tonight. So once I get done with my half-hour break, I am just gonna go ahead and go park at the Garden of Eden gas station. I don't think it's gonna be open. I don't know if it's gonna be open or not. I have no idea. But if it is, great. If not, then it's fine. But yeah, fun story about this place is, so when I was a driver for our hub group, we would leave Salt Lake City early in the morning. My start time was at 5 o'clock, but if I had a route that took me up to Nampa, Idaho, that's what was considered to be a regional route. So they would, man, it's cold, sorry. So they allowed us to start like an hour early if we needed to, or if we wanted to. So yeah, we would start 4 o'clock, do a 5 or 10 minute pre-trip. Come to find out that we weren't doing it long enough, so we had to extend it a little bit by like 10 minutes. And then sometimes our trailer would be ready for us at the yard already. Sometimes it'd be ready. They would have to be at the Salt Lake rail. Sorry. Doing that thing. Just wanted to like that. Yeah, but sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes just want to get some documentation about what it looks like and stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes our trailer would be ready at the yard, sometimes it'd be ready at the rail, and there'd be like 4 or 5 of us that would go pretty much to the same Amazon facility that we saw early in the video. Some of us would take a break at that Walmart. I was one of those people. Some of us would take another break at a gas station a little farther up the road. But I was not one of those ones. I was one of the Walmart guys. So usually what I would do at Walmart, I'd take my half-hour lunch, and by this point, I mean, I had already eaten enough to where like it wasn't really hungry, because sometimes I'd bring like a protein shake with me to drink for lunch. And I would drink that on the way up there. I'd bring a pack of 4, drink a couple in the day, and then dinner time I would come here, but I'll explain that later on. But I would go to Walmart, and sometimes I'd want to get like one of those little microwavable pizzas. I wouldn't be able to eat the whole thing because I had a surgery. Half stomach. I mean, I gained some weight back since I've had my surgery, but I'm trying to work off some of that a little bit more by walking around more often, at least as much as I possibly can. And then once I was done there, me and the other couple of drivers would head out so that way we can go on the road. But yeah, what I would do, Salt Lake City, stop at some of these stops that you've seen in this video, and some of the stops that you would see after me doing this recording, after doing this walkie-talkie section, because I am going to visit some other gas stations after this to show you which ones I would visit. But yeah, I would leave Salt Lake City. I'd go all the way up to Nampa, go to that Amazon facility. Usually by the time I got there to drop off that loaded container, I would be able to pick up the empty container from there, because I would have to bring that one over to Idaho Falls. And that's kind of what I was explaining when I showed you that map at that rest stop earlier. And then usually by the time I got done hooking up to my empty container, I had about 45 minutes left of drive time before I had to, no, actually it was more like an hour of drive time before I had to take a half-hour break. Because the way the laws are here in the United States, as a truck driver, you're allowed to drive for 8 hours, and then you had to take a half-hour lunch break, and then you would be able to drive for another 3 hours, and that would be your 11 hours of allowed being driving on the road. But you'd be allowed to be on duty for 14 hours. 14, the 14 hours, those 3 additional hours could be like a pre-trip, post-trip, hooking up, getting paperwork, dispatch, and stuff like that. All that fun stuff. And then your other 11 hours are specifically for driving. 8 hours first, take a break, then another 11 hours.
So by the time I get done hooking up to my empty container at the Amazon facility, I had about an hour left, and then I would be able to have the additional 3 hours added up onto my total drive time for the rest of the day. So I would go over to that Walmart that was next door, do my half-hour lunch in there, and then from there I would leave, and then I would go to that Blizz Fest, the last one I was talking about that smelled kind of funny, and then I would come up here. You know, it's about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes in my truck to come up to this Comfort Inn Suites. The company paid for the hotel room, so that was nice. And then I would stay here for the night, and I always had to make sure that, well, because my official start time for the day had to be at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I had to make sure I had enough time to do a 10-hour break, or a 10-hour rest break, before starting at 5 a.m. the next day. So then the next morning, I'll come out, and if we were not doing regional, they would allow us to start like a half an hour early. So I would wake up at about 4:15ish, 4:30. I would come down, or I'll go over to, I'll explain the rest of it here in a second. Before I explain that, I kind of want to mention, this is empty. I don't think I've ever seen it this empty before. Even like, ooh, like a horse-drawn carriage or something. And on top of that, when I was coming here, these signs said no parking. There's one right there, one over here. The reason why those signs were not up, but the reason why we were not allowed to park back there, even as truck drivers, is because the Comfort Inn and Suites property went up to the end of this asphalt. So like right here, where it goes from asphalt to dirt, over here, Comfort Inn and Suites, over there, it belonged to someone else. So as you can see, there's a for sale sign, so I don't know what they're going to be building over here on the property over here. Whereas jump the barrier here, you see the other sign, but you see no parking spots. So the end of their property is right here, where you see the difference between the asphalt and like the ground. There are many times where I swam in that swimming pool and worked out in the fitness room right there. While here, ooh, that electric power station, that's new. That wasn't here last time I was here, or when I was coming over here. But yeah, the ladies that worked here, they knew who I was, and they usually gave me one of those top rooms up there on the back side looking out this way, or they usually give me the very end one right there so I could at least look out that way a little bit more. So it was nice. Okay, so when I got here, you see off in the distance there's I-84. So I get off of the exit, you came up here, come all the way around, come all the way around that building, and go on the road next to there, and I would come turn down this parking lot here. Oh, by the way, the sidewalk I was talking about, you can see like electrical boxes over there. That's where I was talking about. But anyways, I would come down, turn my truck down this road, come all the way this way, and then I would park along this curb right here on this side, on the driver's side, not over there, but along this curb right here. And I kind of pull alongside to where my driver's door would match up along where that exit and that entrance door was. You can only get in and out if you had a card, like a key card, like a normal hotel room key card. But here, I'll show you why I would line up to it here in a second. So I would basically come up to about, get these little bricks right here, line up to about right here, right about where this line is or so, and they have like a little power, like electrical power thing right here, right about here, right above the steps. You plug in an extension cord there, and then I would run that extension cord all the way up this way. And they were okay with me doing this, but the extension cord is about 100 feet long, so there's more than enough for me to get from there all the way to here, and they would allow me to plug it in there. And now what that would do, at the time I was not in a sleeper, so I had a day cab, so that's why they gave us a hotel room let us stay the night while we were going up to Nampa up that way. So the reason why I would plug in that with an extension cord is because that is actually what kept our battery in our truck warm overnight, because at the time, it was really cold. Snow was all over this place. It doesn't look like it now, but snow was all over the place. And the temperature, when I first started, it was, you know, January, February, March. So it was like middle of winter, near the end of it, when I was coming up here all the time. And at the time, the temperatures outside were about 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, positive Fahrenheit, so it's still freezing, but it's still positive. It wasn't out in the negatives at all. And the first night I was here, the battery got too cold. I couldn't warm it up, so we had to get someone to come in. And I don't get it, because there's a workshop right there, plus there's a Flying J out there, over there across the street, that had people that can come out to us, but they were not contracted to have anybody come up to us. They had the closest place they had where they were contracted with the hub group to get someone out to us was Idaho Falls, about 2.5 hours that way. Well, you go down I-84, go about 2.5 hours, go all the way around, and Idaho Falls is pretty much over there, but about a 2.5 hour drive. So yeah, anyways, I went ahead and reported that my battery's dead, just needed a jump start. And so, but I had to wait for, dead cat, sorry. I had to wait about 4 or 5 hours for someone to come out just to help jump start my truck. And while I was there waiting for them, I went ahead and talked to the hotel staff, and asked them, would you guys be okay if I stay here? Because I'm waiting for a truck to come out to jumpstart my truck. And they're okay with that, and that's how I could know the staff there. And they were really nice, really kind of have very positive things to say about the staff here. And they told me, that's when they told me about the extension cord thing. They're like, do you have an extension cord or anything like that? I was like, no, I don't. And that's when they told me about the little trick I just showed you. They're like, yeah, we're okay with you guys doing that. And a lot of other truck drivers actually do that, who park here for the night, just to help keep the battery warm during the winter time here in Idaho, because Idaho winters are really cold. Yeah, sure, it's sunny. It looks like it's sunny because today is Christmas Day. So we're dead, you know, winter just started a few days ago. But usually by now, there's about a foot of snow on the ground, here at least. And it's way cold. It's about 33, 34 degrees right now. Feels colder than it really is, because as you can see, almost not a cloud in the sky, and it's really windy. But they told me about the plug thing, and I had never had any issue since. Every time I went into Walmart, the next time I had a trip up here, the next time I was at that Walmart, I picked up that extension cord and never had a problem since. I plug it in every single time. Good times. Okay, so I was gonna go ahead and stay here for the night at the Garden of Eden truck stop, but they have some places that are open tonight, but only until about 6 p.m., which is okay. But I decided not to stay here for the night, because for that reason, I'm just gonna go over to the Hayburn Love's gas station. Yeah, I want to say it's about a half hour through, so it's okay. I got the time to get over there. And another reason why I decided to go over to the Love's gas station at Hayburn is because I've already done like a 10 or 20 minute long vlog here earlier this year with footage from like about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago that my friend Alma Yehuda's Adventure had posted. I'm gonna go ahead and share a link to that video here, or not here, in the video, but I'll share it down below in the description box, so y'all can go back and watch that video. But yeah, this is a place that I usually would stop at. Me and my wife would stop at least the old gas station back before it was demolished. She has some old footage that I was able to show in that video too. So go back and watch that video, watch that review. Or my friend Yehuda will share that video, or has some old footage I shared in that video too. But every time my wife and I would drive from Salt Lake City all the way down there and go back home to Seattle over there, we would always park and come to this gas station. It used to be the old building actually used to be about starting from where this CR England truck is, and go about halfway to where halfway by where those Shell gas station gas pumps are. So yeah, I don't really want to go into detail about that. I'm gonna go over to my truck and go down to Love's, and I can hear the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer theme song is. So I'm gonna go ahead and head on over there to Love's, record that one, and then I'm not gonna post anything because I kind of want to go and watch Rudolph, and I want to watch Red One. I also want to watch a couple of Mr. Bean videos tonight, because to me those are some traditional Christmas movies I like to watch. Red One I've never seen before. Rudolph I haven't seen this year yet. And I also want to watch Red One because I haven't seen it yet this year, and I hear it's really good. So let's go ahead and head on over to Hayburn. I just parked here for the night at the Love's gas station here in Hayburn, Idaho. I'm only about a half hour past where that Garden of Eden gas station is at. This is always a stop of where I go, whether I'm going to Oregon or going to Salt Lake City. I always stop here to get some food or some snacks. And I've been going to this one ever since I first started truck driving and leaving Utah. So you can see there's some construction right. You can see the I-84 over there, just past the sign. You go down there, you come over here to this road over there, kind of come around and kind of come through the entrances is right here. You can come up to the gas pumps here through that entrance or so, or if you wanted to, you can go around. See, there's a truck coming up in there, or you can go around. You come in through that entrance, and I parked over there, so I came in through that entrance over there. And this is it's kind of a smaller store. It's kind of just recently renovated within the last year and a half or so. I mean, there is a Carlos Jr. here too. They usually park their gas tanker trucks over there. But let's go ahead and walk through a little bit. Good morning, everybody. I am Chris the Shriner Dog, coming to you live from just barely inside the Idaho border. I just crossed over into Idaho from Oregon. Today is Christmas Day. I will not be with my family because I am a truck driver and I am on the road. And I kind of decided that this will be an extended collection of videos
of some of my favorite rest stops along the route, along I-84, going back down to Salt Lake City. Now, this might be a little bit of a long video. I've done a couple seasons of rest stops across North America. When I started that series, I don't know if I'm gonna go any farther. I don't know if I'm gonna do that series anymore. I don't know, because I'm driving primarily along the same route, so I see the same ones already. Then some of the stops we'll see today, I've covered those series before too, but as just kind of more of a review of it, and I was just kind of trying to push those videos out. Whereas with this video, it's gonna be a collection of rest stops, and it's gonna be all in one video, so it might be a long video. We'll see though. Filming in 4K, 60 FPS, because I figured, why not? But let's go ahead and just go into this rest stop, and I'll tell you why I like to come to this rest stop. I want to say that, yes, actually, Snake River is just right over there. I'll show you too. About a half mile up the road, I cross over the Snake River to come into Idaho. And that's where the border between Oregon and Idaho start. And Ontario is just over there. I'm about 50 miles from Boise. But let's go check out this rest stop. I'll show you why I like this one so much. Okay, so like I was saying, we are right here, Snake River rest stop. You can see a Snake River over there. The bridge over there, that's the border between Idaho and Oregon. As you see in the map right there, you see it says I-84 twice. We are right at the tiny little one, right off to the left, where that little blue and white star are. So we are literally just on the border of Oregon and Idaho. And a good stretch of I-84 going down into I-15 all the way down there. It's like a memorial highway for Veterans Memorial Highway. Good stretch of that. Okay, so just like with any other rest stop out there, they got the rest area rules posted just outside. You see that basically the same side of all the Idaho rest stops. Now this rest stop is very similar to the one that's on the way to Idaho Falls from Salt Lake City. Along I-15 is the first rest stop you'll see in Idaho. Very similar. Here's a close-up of the map. Like I was saying, we are literally right on the border. The Snake River is kind of crossing like right here. And we have been taking this route all the way down through Nampa. You can see Boise's, I want to say it's roughly 50 to 60 miles away from where we're at. And tonight I plan on going all the way down here to Twin Falls, staying there for the night. And we'll be going down here. And I'm not going to point it out, but usually right here, that's a split between I-86 and I-84. If you go through I-86, you can go all the way over here to Pocatello. And I used to take that because I used to go from, where is it? From Nampa all the way down to here. And before having to go down to Salt Lake City that way, I would have to go all the way this way into Pocatello, all the way up to Idaho Falls to do a stop there. And then I would take I-15 all the way straight back down to Salt Lake City. We're not taking I-86. We're going to be taking I-84 down to Salt Lake City from there. And this video will cover same tomorrow. Saying this rest stop is similar to the one that's over in on the other side of the state. Very clean. But this is one of the reasons why this is actually one of my favorite rest stops. You get all your information there, over there, cleaning up in there, so I don't really want to do a whole lot of cleaning over there. But if you come out here and just come outside, you overlook the Snake River from up here. Got your wall fenced off, picnic areas. I like coming to this rest stop because it's very clean. When you're going towards Oregon, the rest stop that's on the other side of the highway, the interstate, is actually on the Oregon side of the border down there, not this side. A little bit, see if I'm on camera. Hello. But if you can see down there, it kind of goes down, stretches out. You can see it kind of turns off to the right over there. That's where the border between Idaho and Oregon are. I'm actually not sure if that's Idaho or Oregon over there. I don't know. I think it's Idaho over there. If you go down, there will be a bridge crossing over the Snake River that way. Once you halfway between that bridge is where the border is between Oregon and Idaho. But as for, like I was saying, as for like over there,
I think farther down that way on the other side of the river, I think that is Oregon over there, whereas over here I think this is all Idaho right now, but I think, don't quote me on that. Now the last time I actually came down this way, when I actually did an audio recording, is towards the end of, or not an audio recording, I'm sorry, when I did an actual vlog, the vlog I did for this particular rest stop, the review one. I'll leave a link down to that video down below so you can watch that review. I believe it was at the end of summer. I went down to Ontario, Oregon, which is, again, just over, you can see the city over there. That city way down there, that's Ontario, Oregon. I went down there to make a delivery, and on my way back, I stopped by here. So, and with it being towards the end of summer, almost, you know, almost autumn time, a lot of the leaves are still up. I don't think any of the leaves are down on the ground. And I remember, I think that is an onion farm out there. I think, because when I was here, it had a strong odor, and it smelled like onions. It smelled bad, but at the same time it's good too, because I love onions, which is really weird. I love the smell. I know onions smell bad, but I actually love the smell of onions, especially when you grill up the onions. It is really good. Right now, with it being Christmas Day, I can smell someone's fire. Someone has a fire in their fireplace, and it smells really good. I love the smell of fire when it's cold weather. It's about 32, 33 degrees. You see it's some clouds, some sunlight, but precipitation is light. Oh, right there you can see. I can't zoom in because I have my GoPro. You see across the smoke coming out of that chimney. They probably have a fire going on with it being their Christmas fire. I remember as a kid growing up, as a teenager and stuff like that, we had a fireplace in our home. And I remember every Christmas, my parents would start a fire in the fireplace. So that way whenever we had open up a box, or whenever we had a box laying all over the place, paper, my dad would throw all that stuff into the fire. But he would let it build up a little bit, so that way when the fire burned, it burnt some more of the garbage, so there would be less that to work with, or the workaround, you know what I mean? And this is again back to the rest stop here. It's part of the Oregon Trail National Historic Trail. If you're walking through here, I'm not gonna spend time looking, or a whole lot of time like focusing on these, because go back to the video that I posted, where I actually take my time, filming those. You can go back and read those signs there. Because this video is already going to be a long enough video as it is, or as it will be. I know I'm only at 5 or 6 minutes of the video or so, but it's still the beginning, but it's going to be a long video. And again, I don't remember if I actually stayed on this one long enough, but here it is, long enough to where you can actually pause in the video and then read what that sign says. I'm not sure if I actually added that sign to my last video. I don't remember. I haven't gone back to watch it yet. And again, like I said, I'll post a link to that video down below, so that way you can go back and watch after you're done watching this video. Unless you want to pause now, watch it now, and then come back to this video later on. Now it is actually time for me to leave this rest place, this rest area, and start heading back down the road, down to my next stop. My next stop will be probably in Nampa or in Bliss. We'll see, because that's what this video is. I want to talk about like all the rest stops I usually stop at on this route, and that I have been stopping at for like the last 2 or 3 years. And again, I'm trying to avoid filming my truck because I don't want to put my company name I drive for on there, because I don't want them to think I'm wasting time, because I'm not. I'm on downtime right now. It's just now it's time for me to get going. Okay, it is early the next morning. It is about 6:30 in the morning. And if you remember earlier in the video yesterday, when I pointed out that on the map I'll be coming up on a split between I-86 and I-84, well, I just passed that. It's about 3 miles up the road that way, 2 or 3 miles up the road that way. So I'm on I-84. Salt Lake City's down that way. And if you can believe it, I'm at a rest stop. This actually used to be a rest stop and port of entry. The port of entry used to be, if you can kind of see like a little yellow sign right there, that's actually where the port of entry used to be. Now, when I worked at Hub Group on my first over-the-road trucking job, I got pulled in. Our tablets would tell us if we need to go into the port of entry to get scaled, weighed out, and all that stuff. This bathroom has always been here. Little parking area. I've done a review here. Done a couple of old videos here. But anyways, the tablet would tell us when we had to get pulled in, so that way the DOT can scale us out. You know, make sure we're not overweight or anything like that. I got pulled in once into this one right here, right up to where that truck is over there. And I got pulled in to get scaled out. Turns out on my tails, on my axles, right, the 4 axles, the 2 axles will be towards the back of the trailer. I got pulled in, and they scaled me out. And turns out I was about 20 pounds overweight back there. Sorry, it's snowing and it's cold. But yeah, like I said, I got scaled out, and they ended up, sorry, you can't really see me. They ended up giving me a citation for $75, all because I was just 20 pounds overweight in the back end. Usually if you're like, you know, within 100 pounds of being overweight elsewhere, they'll just let you skate on by. So I don't know why they fined me like $75 for it. And on top of that, they claimed, well, this is probably the reason why they fined me $75. And it wasn't because of the overweight, but they said I was 20 pounds overweight. And then they did a pre-trip, I guess they did like a truck inspection, and they found that one of my tires on my trailer was going flat, and they put me out of service, and they would refuse to let me go until I got that tire fixed. And you know, if you look out there, see, there's that little white truck there, or not little white truck, but there's that truck over there. That's about where the scale station was. And they would not let me leave the port of entry until I got the tire replaced. So I waited about, as you can see, there was like no room over there. So they would not, little to no room, so I had to partially block some of the lanes so I could wait until they actually started to change my tire. Okay, it's kind of hard to see, but that's where we were yesterday. When we crossed into Idaho from Oregon, followed this all the way down here. Hayburn, that's where I stayed last night. And this is the intersection I was talking about right there. And we are right about there, But yeah, I used to, like, before that whole incident, I used to come to these rest stops all the time. This one and the one that was across the street, but then they, after that incident, I just thought I hadn't really been pulled into this terminal at all since that incident. And I didn't really come here to go to the bathroom anymore after that, because I used to come to these ones all the time, but after that I decided against it. I always would go to Hayburn a few miles up the road. But as you can see, as you can tell, the weigh station is no longer here. The one that's across, the one over there that's on the other side of I-84. It's also no longer here. They demolished them and they opened up new ones about 4 miles up the road. Show you on the map again. So Hayburn, that's where I was at last night. And they're probably right about there. Just about a mile or two before that junction. That's where they're at now. But now that those scale stations are no longer here, and if they end up not pulling over at Hayburn to go to the bathroom at the gas station there, I'll come stop over here and just go quickly, go to the bathroom. God, it's cold. Oh man. But the thing is, like 34 degrees, just barely above freezing, but it's still cold and I still feel it. All right, so I am about 65, 70 miles from the last stop I was at. I am at the Juniper rest stop. This is a good one to visit because it's pretty, it's kind of hard to miss. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss, but it's kind of hidden away in a way at the same time, because you can see all these little trees, nice little picnic areas. And you see, it's snowed a lot more since I was at the last rest stop. I was driving about 50 miles per hour, 45 miles, 45, 50 miles per hour. It took me maybe about an hour to get here. But this is a good one to visit. It's the last rest stop to visit in Idaho before you get into Utah. Utah is roughly 2 miles up the road up that way. 2, maybe 3 miles tops. And like any other rest stop, the first rest stop in Idaho is on the other side of I-84. This is the last one in Idaho going towards Utah. Pretty nice one to visit. Now, if you've gotten this far into the video, I bet you're wondering, why is Strider Dog talking about all these rest stops in this one video? Why is this one video so long? Well, let me tell you, being a trucker, it ain't easy. The reason why I have so many memories of all these different stops is because, well, Hub Grow talked about that, but my last trucking job when I was driving for Penske Logistics. And on the weeks when I actually got an Idaho route, I would literally start in Salt Lake City, drive up to Idaho Falls, come back, go to Pocatello, and then go over to Boise and Nampa, Caldwell, that area, do a whole bunch of stops. We only have 70 hours per week that we can work, that we're allowed to work. Well, when I was at Penske, if I had an Idaho route, the route was short enough to where I would only have to put in 20 hours a week for the 20 hours of work for the week. So it was pretty short. And that's why I have so many, that's why I know about all the majority of the stops in like southeastern, southwestern Idaho. Sorry, it's really snowy. And on those weeks when I would actually go to Idaho, I would literally stop at every rest stop that I possibly can just to drag out the time. I would make a 20-hour work week, turn it into a 30-hour work week, sometimes even a 35-hour work week, because I wanted to put in the time. And as a trucker, I got a good hourly wage at that job, but I would only, like I said, I would, on the weeks where I would go to Idaho, where I was not in Montana or Alberta or anything like that, it would be a really short week, 20-hour week. So I would stop at every rest stop I could, stop for, 10, 20 minutes at a time, just to drag out my time so I could actually get paid for more hours. So I would stop at all these little stops, and this week is kind of one of those weeks in a way, because I had to do my 34-hour reset starting Saturday morning, because I didn't get my last stop. I didn't get back to Salt Lake City until Saturday morning, so I had to do a 34-hour reset, and I would not be able to make a Tuesday load. So it was gonna be a short week anyway. So that's kind of why I'm taking my time to film all these little different stops and provide a video, because I want to be able to do at least one video per week. That's my New Year's resolution, is to be able to put out one video per week, probably on Saturdays, maybe even Sundays, because like I said, as a truck driver, I got to get some filming done. I can't always sit there. I don't always have enough time to sit there and edit together multiple videos. So I kind of said, as a trucker, I'm gonna film and post at least one video, and most likely post it on Saturdays or Sundays. And every once in a while, I'll be able to post a little short video here and there. So that's gonna be my promise for the New Year, for anybody who's willing to watch my videos. Well, I wasn't gonna film at this location. I mean, I've already filmed a video here and posted on a playlist. By the way, the videos I talked about, instead of going through my YouTube channel and finding the separate individual videos, I'm gonna add that playlist to the end that you can click on and watch the rest of the videos of what I'm talking about. I'm actually in Perry, Utah, near Brigham City, and this is why I wanted to film it, because when I was here, none of this was being dug up last time I was here, and to me it looks like they might be adding on some sidewalks. Not sure why they would do that here in this part over here, at least. And then last time I was here, they had that little area fenced off already. I think it's like some horticulture stuff going on over there. I filmed it then too. And looks like they're doing something new with the sign here. Not sure what they're gonna do with that. So aside from what they're doing right there in the middle over there, this is also something else that they're doing over here. Maybe they're just cleaning it up. I don't know. It also looks like they might be putting in new sprinkler lines. I don't know, in some parts of it, because that's, at least that's what it looks like. Or they might be getting ready to put in new plants, new sidewalks. It looks like, at least over here, it looks like they're putting in some new sidewalk stuff, maybe some new grass. What I think they should do is, like, you see those little picnic gazebos over there? I think they should go and at least replace those, because they look like they've been around for a minute. And I know I mentioned it before. This would be a good place to have like a little thing, visitor center. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's what they're doing over there. The habitat over there. But yeah, like, this is one of the restaurants I usually stop at. Pretty nice little one. A lot cleaner than the other side. But glad they're doing. Looks like they're burning. Oh yeah, over by the bathroom, you see right there. Right there. And then the sidewalk over there, looks like. And again, oh, nice. Let's notice this too. So I see that they have the habitat over there for the flowers and stuff like that. But it also looks like they're going to be putting in some new sidewalks over here. It's kind of nice how they're doing that, sprucing things up a little bit. They should do that on the other side. I tell you, there's actually a couple miles up the road out that way, but it's going northbound. They should definitely fix that one up. Honestly, it's no secret. Snow in the mountains here in Utah, it's awesome. Like, the mountains look so much better with the snow on them than they do during the summertime. It's awesome. Through the summer months, from I'd say about June, May or June, the snow is all melting. It stays that way usually until about, I want to say about October time in most cases. This year we had a very late snowfall. It started snowing, well, Utah has gotten like snowfall every once in a while. Like, it'd snow like about that much, but then it'd be gone after like 9 or 10 in the morning. But nothing would be on the streets at all. Kind of like what they are now, which is what I prefer.
So I have to apologize for all that background noise in all those videos, because I was recording using the mic on my GoPro, and I was filming it live. Also, so here's my review. The trucking industry, if you can do it, more power to you. Just be careful. Just take do not let people control you and your CDL and your logs, because those are you. Those are your responsibility, not the company's responsibility. And actually what I mean by that is the fact that the company you drive for, dispatch, your boss, everybody's going to try to do what they can to take advantage of you. They're going to try to make you work as many hours as you possibly can. You are only allowed to work 70 hours a week. And once your 14 hours is done for the day, you need to shut down. You cannot let other people tell you otherwise, because that's your control. Because if a DOT officer pulls you over, that's going to be on you. And if that DOT officer sees that in your logs, he's going to take it out on you, not your company. You got to cover your butt and do whatever it is to take care, to protect you yourself, to protect your CDL, and to protect your family. That's what it is. And that's what I mean by all that. Now, there's like different types of jobs you can do while being in the trucking industry. There's OTR, where you're over the road. You're gone for weeks and months at a time. Where there's also regional, where you're still in the area, but you're gone for about a week at a time. And there's also home daily, where obviously you're home daily. I prefer the home daily for a higher amount of money, but you will make more money while you're on the road. But I prefer to stay as close to home as I can and be home more often, because I got kids and my wife to take care of. I want to be able to look after them, and I also want to be able to spend time with them. But if you're willing to if you're like, let's say you're closer to retirement age, all your kids are moved out, and you're married and stuff like that, or if you're single, over the road, OTR and regional, that's definitely the good one for you. but everybody has preferences. Just as long as you protect yourself, you protect your logs, you protect your CDL, protect yourself from people trying to take advantage of you is basically what I'm trying to say. But other than that, the job I do recommend people go out and get the CDL and enjoy the open road. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing. Everybody will have their own experiences with it. Anyways, I hope you like this video. Give it a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Hey everybody. Everybody watching has to subscribe. Subscribing is cool. Thanks.